Okay, so Agile Manifesto we have discussed, and we know that is Scrum is one of the methodology which adopt the Agile, which implement the Agile, right? So, on what principle Agile works? Agile believes on individual and the interaction. The blue one indicates is the Agile Manifesto over. The green one indicates that is something is in traditional software development methodology, like maybe waterfall and all others. So agile work on the individual and the interaction over process and tools, like we can think of like product owner is there, scrum master is there, scrum team is there. So the interaction and the individual is the focus. Working software over comprehensive documentation, you can just imagine, uh, after every sprint we try to give some deliverables to the end user, but here uh, throughout the software development we just a lot of the importance is given to the documentation, like plan communication. You can just come up with requirement document, then the design planning, then comes the implementation, right? So the comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. In waterfall you just ask the customer in the very first meeting in the communication phase, you ask customer to state all the requirement and just ask customer to close the eyes, okay? And you develop complete software, and then once all the phases are done, you ask customer open the eye and see what we did, okay? And it's just a risky process if you think, because you never know whether the customer will be happy or satisfied or not. It's a question, but that is not happening in the agile. After every sprint we are calling customer, we are giving something to the throughout the software development. After once first sprint is over, we are giving something to the like deliverable to the customer. Then in between, like still we are in the development, we are able to see whether customer is satisfied or not. So that is something is customer collaboration. We are inviting customer in the sprint review meeting, sprint retrospective meeting, to give the suggestion, right? So that is not happening in the waterfall. Responding to change over following a plan. In traditional software development, the plan is very important because lot of man hours we are just giving, investing for doing that plan. And if after once the plan is finalized, if customer is coming with few changes, the waterfall traditional process is very rigid. They will say that it's not possible because we finalize, we freeze the plan. But that is not happening in the waterfall, in the agile. Why? Because once the first sprint is over, the changes are welcome, like further changes if you want to have, you can ask the customer if you want any changes, you can just tell us, we can accommodate that changes in maybe in the next cycle. So that way these are the agile manifesto, uh, on which the agile and the agile umbrella is there. Various tools and methodologies are there which actually implement this agile, and which are those. So scrum is one of the methodology which implement the agile. Then we are having extreme programming, uh, Kanban is there, okay? So that we are going to discuss in detail. So this is scrum at a glance. This is something like sprint backlog. This is a sprint cycle. So sprint backlog is there. Then backlog tasks are expanded by the team, okay? These backlogs, who are going to clear this out, and what this backlog content? This backlog content the items from the product backlog only, okay? So product backlog is a superset and sprint backlog is a subset, right? And all subset together will be like all sprint backlog together will give you the product backlog. So now again there will be the sprint cycle of 2 to 4 weeks duration, and daily scrum meeting will be there. And out of this sprint, every sprint some shippable product increments are there. So this is scrum. Again, this we have discussed in detail, uh, sequential versus overlapping, right? So this is the blue one indicate which we do, which we does in the waterfall Like rather than doing all of one thing at a time, what Scrum does, Scrum teams do little of everything all time. Like this, what little of everything? This requirement design, code test, this cycle is getting repeated for every sprint, right? So then these are the Scrum framework. So different roles we are having: product owner, Scrum Master, team, Scrum team. Ceremonies we are having: sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective, daily Scrum meeting. Artifacts we are having like product backlog, sprint backlog, and burndown chart. Right? Scrum roles we have discussed in detail. What is the role of product owner? Roles and responsibility of product owner. In short, decide features, release plan, prioritization, and this dollar indicates the budget, right? Cost estimation. Scrum Master is basically, Scrum Master can be called as a team leader, project manager, right? Then responsible for enacting Scrum values and practicals, remove impediments, politics, keep everyone productive. Then who all are there in a project team? 5 to 10 members, self-organizing team, cross-functional is the feature of that team, may contain the quality analyst, programmers, user interface designer, etc. And then this is not point of discussion. Then Delhi Scrum meeting. Okay, so yes, we have discussed this. You can see this is a stand-up meeting. Okay, picture show that like they are not very like sitting relaxed, like feeling relaxed and then discussing somehow for longer time. No, it's a stand-up meeting, very quick meeting of approximately 15 minutes. And uh, like it's not a problem solving meeting. Whole world is invited, but who are allowed to speak in that meeting? Only team members. Scrum Master, product owner can talk, and it helps to call another unnecessary meeting. And these are the three questions which everybody have to ask in the meeting. Those who have those who are involved in that particular project, that is, what did you do yesterday, what will you do today, and what obstacles are in your way? That are the three questions everybody has to answer. Then Scrum artifact we are about to discuss. Like we have started with product backlog, sprint backlog, and the burndown chart. So product backlog is something which is nothing but it is created initially by the product owner. Okay, like product owner will have discussion with the stakeholder, listen all the stories, epic told by the customer and the stakeholder. You can imagine Zomato product owner. So Zomato product owner will listen all the stories, all the requirements stated by the customer like us who are placing the order, and the one restaurant people who wanted to use that product to take the order from the customer. So product owner will listen all the epic, list it down into epic, and just try to break that epic into number of user stories. Every user story is small task, right? Small task, and which we are calling as a product backlog items. And another very important feature is the product backlog is order one. Like according to the priorities, the product backlog items are sorted. So what product backlog content? The requirements, okay, stated by the customer, a list of all desired work on the project, ideally expressed as list of user stories along with story points such that each item has a value to user or customer of the product, prioritized by the product owner, reprioritize at start of each sprint. Like story point, product backlog contain the various stories, and one major thing is each stories will be having the story point. So what do you mean by the story point? The story point is nothing but just it's the effort estimation, how much hours it required to clear out that story, to implement that story. Okay, that is nothing but story point. And there are various uh, estimation technique. Planning poker is one of the estimation techniques, so that we are going to discuss very soon. So this is one of the artifact of sprint. Then user story. So instead of use cases, okay, forget about use case, we are going to discuss that. But in agile project, like in agile project owner do the user story. User stories are nothing but the task or the features of the product which needs to get implemented, which needs to get clear out. That's why we are putting in into the backlog. So there are three things: who, what, and why. Okay, who, like user role, what is the goal and why is the reason. Is this a customer, employer, admin, etc.? What functionalities must be achieved or developed? Why does user want to accomplish this goal? These are the three very basic question, W questions. As a user role, I want to goal, so I can do this, right? Example diya hai. As a user, I want to log in so I can access subscriber content. So in similar way, how Zomato product owner will write the story for different features. So as a customer, I want to log in so I can place my order, food order. For the restaurant, as a restaurant manager, I want to log in so I can I can able to take the order of food delivery. Okay, the way in which product owner have to write the story. And the next thing is story point. Story point is nothing but the rating of efforts needed to implement the story. Common scale is between 1 to 10, short size, or it can be a short size, small, medium, large, excel. So to implement this story, to create, to develop this story, to clear this story, how much effort it's required. Okay, so that is called as a estimation, and we are going to see that how that estimation is done. Then this is sample product backlog items. I hope this we have discussed. This is just sample. Okay, sample is nothing but it's just example. So you can see how the stories, product backlog items are written in this particular year. Product backlogs allow a guest to make a reservation. As a guest, I want to cancel a reservation. As a guest, I want to change the dates of reservation. As a hotel employee, I can run this revenue per available room report, improve exception handling, and blah blah blah, right? So story estimation, you can see numbers in front of these are nothing but the story point. Matlab kya? What does it mean? This to implement this, to clear out this from the product backlog, there's need 3 hours to implement. The second story needs 5 hours, and at the end you can just have the total estimation how much hours that particular product backlog. Matlab, together once you have estimation is done for each and every story, that is the indication of कि आपके पूरे backlog, the product will get developed in how much duration. Then sprint backlog. Okay, product backlog is finished, then comes the sprint backlog. So sprint backlog is something which is taken out from the product backlog, right? So individual sign up for the work of their own choosing. Work is never assigned. Estimated work remaining is updated daily. Any team member can add, delete, change sprint backlog. Work for the sprint emerges. If work is unclear, define sprint backlog items with larger amount of time and break it down later. Update work remaining as more becomes known. Okay. So let's have a discussion of this with very nice. Yeah. Just I am opening this board. I hope this is visible to you. Thank you. Now you just look at this, okay? So this is the product owner, okay? This is the product owner. He will be having a discussion with the stakeholder. Maybe Zomato product owner, if you are imagining. So like us, okay, sample customer and the restaurant manager, they may call for the meeting. And once he has listened all the things from the stakeholder, okay, he will write the epic. Then epic will get breakdown into number of product backlog items. So every product backlog item is nothing but क्या रहता है ये? This is called as the user stories. Okay, features which need. So this total product backlog will say like what to do with your product. Okay, again this is the order one. Okay, this is the order one. It's not any like product owner is not putting in random order. The priority, according to the priority, he will put the product backlog items. Like you can imagine if the Zomato product owner, how he will be putting, he will not put the stories like as a customer I want to see real-time tracking of food delivery. So that is the list priority. The priority will be given for placing the order and taking the order by restaurant people. So that will be having highest priority, and then the remaining will be having the offer section. Okay, the restaurant people should able to give the offers and customer should able to see the offers. That will be having list priority. So the what product owner will do, product owner will put all the PBIs, user stories, according to the priorities. Then so this is the role of this is the role of product owner. Okay, now again we are having, okay, development team. This development team is calling, we are calling this as the Scrum team. Okay, Scrum team. And the Scrum team is having, of course, it's having one Scrum Master, which can be a team leader. Okay, which can be a team leader. Then what they have to do, they have to create a sprint backlog. Okay, sprint planning is basically there, one of the artifacts. So what they are doing in the sprint planning, so who all will be there for the sprint planning? uh, so let's talk about the sprint planning first, then I will just give me a minute so that I will come back to this slide again. Sprint planning, yes. Okay, sprint planning. So you can see here what is happening in the sprint planning. So input to the sprint planning meeting will be team capacity, product backlog, business condition, current product, technology. And sprint planning, there are two things: sprint prioritization, sprint planning. And out of sprint prioritization, sprint goal will be there, and then sprint planning. With the sprint planning, sprint backlog will be there. So now you are having, okay, product backlog will be input for the sprint plan. Then the team along with Scrum Master, Scrum team along with Scrum Master will decide how to how to, you can think of, just say for the Zomato, say 12 stories product owner has he has created and put it into the product backlog. So, and prioritize also he did. Now sprint planning, now if the one kind of planning, if the Scrum team is doing that, we will have the two sprint. The first sprint contains 6 stories, the second sprint contains 6 stories. So within this 2 sprint, we are going to deploy all the complete project. Again, one may think of sprint planning kaise hoga, like we will have say 3 sprint, where in every sprint we are going to cover 4 stories. Okay, 4 3s are 12. So 3 sprint, every sprint contain 4 stories. But while you are sitting for planning, the sprint has to plan in like the way the stories together, which will give you some shippable product. Okay, because it is necessary after every sprint, something you have to deliver to the customer, shippable product. You, that way you have to plan your sprint. Like clearing out this number of story together should give you some shippable product. Okay, that is the very first thing. And then again, sprint prioritization is also there. Say in Zomato case, the first sprint may uh, give you the customer metaphor, customer user interface, right? The second sprint may give you, so that can be a goal. Okay, that can be a goal, and goal leads to the deliverables. So you are planning sprint one's goal is just clear out like the customer metaphor, customer user interface. The second sprint may be of restaurant people will be able to take order, that interface and all metaphor. And the third one will be real time tracking of the uh, food delivery. Okay, that can be the last sprint. And total together, integrating all sprint together, acquisition uh, all together will leads to your complete deployment. Okay, so that way the sprint prioritization is also very important. One can't think of in first sprint we will just work on the simulation part like real time tracking of food delivery. It's not necessary, right? uh, it should kept at the list priority. So that way sprint prioritization is happening. So here you need to basically analyze the product backlog, and then you need to decide a sprint goal. There can be a 3 sprint goal, like first sprint goal may be customer user interface and metaphor. Second sprint may be restaurant people metaphor and the user interface, and last may be real time tracking of food delivery. Then so once you have prioritized, okay, then sprint planning, like within that you decided a goal to achieve that goal. Okay, what different backlogs, what different product backlogs you need to put, okay, together, so that integrating together will give you that particular goal, you will be achieved that particular goal. So you need to create a sprint backlog like to clear out this goal. Okay, give customer metaphor. So what different stories we need to put into the sprint backlog, so that at the end of the sprint we will be able to deliver some shippable product to the end user. Then estimate sprint backlog in hours. That is the one thing again we need to do in the sprint planning, that uh, the meeting. Okay, because you can see here, I just open the thing, I hope it's visible. So now you can imagine this is the Scrum team along with the Scrum Master, and this is the one who are doing groundwork, who are supposed to implement the product, clear out the stories, right? So estimation, it's a logical thing, right? Estimation needs to be get done by this people only. Okay, like to clear out each and every story, product backlog item, how many hours are required. So this estimation is done by this story along with like leader or scrum master, and then breaking it down. Okay, like breaking it down, what this team will do. Okay, what this team will do, like together this four we will plan first sprint, together this we will plan second sprint, together this we will plan third sprint, right? So that is decided by, this is decided by this is happening in sprint planning. This we are doing in sprint planning. Okay, sprint, this is sprint one, and prioritization as well. Okay, prioritization as well, this is sprint one, this is sprint two. Okay, and this is sprint three. So total product backlog is getting divided into number of sprint, but it is like it happening in sprint planning. Okay, and again prioritization, like one may think of ki nahi, nahi, sprint one is having like whatever breakdown we are having, we just need to reorder it. This four should be one and one should be four, right? And then you can change the number, right? One and this is four, right? So prioritization is also important, which will be done in the sprint planning meeting. So your sprint product backlog will get converted into a number of sprint. Okay, I will just make it red so it will be easier. So product backlog, you have break it down into number of sprint, but in sprint planning, right, again every sprint is having some goal, sprint goal, and some deliverables they have planned out of that sprint. And what that sprint contain, number of tasks, okay, number of user stories together, that will give you some deliverables, some shippable outcomes. Okay, and combining all the sprint deliverables together will leads to the complete product delivery. That way this planning needs to be get done, and this will be done by this development team. Okay, this development team. Then so how they will proceed, this will be done. So first is product backlog will get filled, then sprint planning will happen. Planning may sprint prioritization, breaking it down into number of sprints, how many sprints we require, right? Again, every story will be having estimated by the development team. Every story will be having, every product backlog will be assigned with, we are assigning the story point. Okay, story point is nothing but like how much what we can say, how much hours it required to get clear out. Okay, ठीक है. So story point is nothing but the estimation. So ये हर एक story का estimation होगा. So if you add to all stories estimation together, that will give you if this to clear out this product backlog, how many hours we require. So that way again total together you story point together will give you like sprint. You can decide of how many, like duration of how many weeks, right? So planning will clear out major things. Then how we are proceeding. So development team will start planning kiya. Okay, planning kiya, then the development team will fill the sprint backlog. So whatever stories are there in this product backlog, they will just pick up and put into the sprint backlog. Sprint backlog will get filled, which is having sprint goal, and which is having, okay, some shippable potential releasable increment. Okay, shippable product they are having, that way they need to plan that sprint. Okay, and one of the major thing is that again whatever the task they have put it like in the sprint backlog, while it is in the duration of that sprint, they can, anyone from that team can just add it or modify it. Okay, again while this planning is doing, everyone's contribution is equal contribution. Like this team members are, this is called as a collaboration. Okay, everyone can suggest give, no we can just remove this story and just put it into sprint 2, or just add the last wala story in sprint 2. So everyone will be contributing, collaborating, because they know ye to sabko, like this is something which we have to do. So let's plan it very effective manner, right? So sprint backlog is something like you can text, the team can yeah, this is not the order one. Sprint backlog is something where n stories are given to you, so that n story you can try to clear out in your ways. Okay, not necessary some order is getting decided, it is flexible. You just start with any of the tasks, any of the stories. Just the thing is that the number of stories which are there into the sprint backlog needs to get completed at the end of that sprint. Then what happened for to achieve this? Okay, so sprint we have discussed, sprint is normally of maximum is 1 month, 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, and scrum master is there, right? Scrum master, leader is there, team leader is there. Then to achieve that, to they know that this is something which we are supposed to clear, we are committed to clear. So they meet daily. Okay, daily scrum meetings are happening, because they are committed. If it is not possible within that duration, they are answerable. That's why daily they are meeting to update, stay updated. And once that sprint is over, they are delivering something. Okay, release. And then once that release is happen, the sprint review and sprint retrospective meetings are happening. Okay, retrospective is something where, like, review is something where the team members will sit, like product owner, scrum leader, like scrum master, and the team will sit together. All world is invited, but these are the only one who are able to speak, and they will just see what we did. Okay, and what is like last sprint, what we did in the last sprint, and what different features we have just implemented in this current sprint. Okay, so that way demo they will have in the meeting before release. And then retrospective is something where the team try to understand what good things we did, what bad thing, what mistake we did, so that they will not carry forward the same mistake in the next sprint. So retrospective meeting is happening. So this is the thing, the way in which this, again, product refinement. Okay, product backlog refinement. After once the changes are not allowed within the sprint. Okay, the changes are not allowed when the sprint is in the live. Okay, within that, if sprint is active, the changes are not allowed. Once the sprint is over and we are about to start next sprint, then product can get backlog can get refined. Okay, because at the beginning to do the perfect planning is very difficult. When you are proceeding with the development, you may came across, like you came across to know that, okay, if we shuffle this, it will be like it's a correlated, and let's do refine the product backlog. That way you can do. Or if customer is coming with any changes, that way it can be done. Okay, so next, this is the something which we are doing in the scrum, right? First we backlog, right? We are having backlog, that is called as a plan. Then collaborate. Okay, this is called as the iteration. Daily scrum meeting is there, and this is the iteration. This requirement analysis, planning, design, development, testing, this we are doing in iteration. And then release, after each iteration release, after each iteration release, right? And then these are the deliverable is not just like, you can see the complete box is getting divided into number of blocks, and the same way the complete box is not getting deliverable, parts together is getting deliverable. And how it will be beneficial, because um, after first iteration the customer may give you the feedback, so that feedback you just try to work on that feedback in the next iteration, so to make it uh, more like quality product delivery, right? Deliverable release, and this is something called as release, right? So plan, collaborate, delivery. So this is a product backlog, sprint backlog. This is the product backlog. Out of that, you are taking a sprint backlog. Sprint started of 30 days maximum. Daily we are meeting, and then this is iterative. Okay, number of time this is iterating, and working increment of software is something which we are aiming at the aim. Then sprint cycle. Okay, this particular sprint cycle, you can see this sprint cycle. Okay, this is the cycle, sprint cycle. So planning, execution, retrospective, these are the three things. Though week, you can see here in the picture, 2 weeks of sprint cycle is there. So planning, what plan we are doing, what will we do in this sprint? Okay, new features, bugs, backlogs. Then we need to estimate each and every story. So planning paper we can use. We are very soon going to see what is planning paper, so that we will do in the planning. Then execution, right? We are about to implement that. So daily scrum meetings less than 15 minutes. These three questions everyone is asking: what did we do yesterday, what will we do today, what blockers do we have? Then execution, assign a task, update Jira as we work, unit test, pull request, and peer review, merge with the integration. So this is something which is like with the tools they are going to track the things in the industry. Then the retrospective, what tasks were completed, add up story point, move incomplete task to the backlog. What did we do well? What can we improve in the next sprint? That is something we need to retrospective. कौन सी चीजें we did well and कौन सी चीजें we need to improve in the next, right? So you can think sprint A, sprint B, sprint C, sprint infinite. So if sprint A and sprint if you are integrating, okay, this together integrating B, integrating C, integration infinity will be your final release of your product. So this is something is a daily stand-up meeting, right? Uh, like the team who are there on a sprint cycle, they just daily meet. It's a stand-up meeting of very 10 to 15 minutes, and they discuss about stay updated with each other. Uh, and this is something which we need to discuss planning poker activity for the estimation. Before that, few points we need to discuss. Burn down chart. Yeah, daily scrum meeting we have discussed. Scrum artifacts, product backlog, sprint backlog, burn down chart. So burn down chart, which product backlog we have stored, user stories also seen. Sprint backlog we have discussed, right? So this is we have to discuss burn down chart. So burn down chart is something on the in the burn down chart on the x-axis we are having different days, okay, like how many weeks you are having. So you can have like 29 April, 6th of May, 13th of April, May, 20th of May, 24th of May. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 weeks a sprint cycle is there, okay, 5 weeks. And to clear out that sprint backlog, we need around it is 780, okay, 780, approximately 800 hours it requires, right? So we have started with implementing it, right? It's going down. So what it indicates, जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ रहे, weeks are progressing, the team are working. तो जितना शुरू में like at the beginning the 800 hours is required, that is getting down, that is getting reduced. Like after first week, how much it require, remaining hours is, you can say it's a 780 something, right? 780 something in the second week. And so when the slope is down, that is indication that your team is working on the project, so that the hours required to complete that project is getting down, getting decremented, okay. And when it is reaching towards the end, okay, just say now it's a fourth of week of your sprint cycle, and the graph says that the work remaining is of 0 hours, that's the indication that your project is getting completed, right? So there are various burn down chart we can see here, okay. A very simple example, Monday, it's of just 5 days, okay. uh, then the particular task requires how much hours, it's approximately 48 hours. So one day the work is done. On Tuesday, how many hours is remaining? So 30 hours work is remaining. On Thursday, how much hour is remaining? Approximately 19 or 18 hours are remaining. And on Friday, 9 hours are remaining. And like when it's reaching to 0, that's indication that we complete with the task. So this chart will help the team to stay updated, like how much uh, whether we are on the right track, we want to speed up, we want to speed down, okay. This burn down chart particular, the x-axis indicate the days, number of days in the sprint, and this is something which is the hours remaining. So initially when you are on the first day, the project is just started, it requires 50 hours, and you see that the days are increasing, but the hours are not getting decreasing, that's the indication that the no work is being performed. Your team is not doing anything, they are just sitting ideally, right? So this is, and if you can see the another example of burndown chart. So this is the like 31 days of burndown chart. The assigned work is of uh, 48. Okay, so work is being performed, but it's not fast when it's straight line. On the third day 47 hours was remaining, on fourth there's still 47, on fifth that till 47. So what is the indication of that? The work has not been performed, that's why it is on the same line, right? So this burndown chart explain that, indicates that work been performed but not fast enough. ये 2-3 दिन वो टीम ने कुछ भी नहीं किया, right? They did do anything on this particular days. So daily this chart is getting updated, right? uh, Again the another example of burndown chart. So this is the indication that this particular sprint is of 31 days, 1 month. And initially the plan was, because team does the estimation, and they stated that whatever the task they have chosen in that particular sprint, they require 48 hours to clear it out. But the burn down chart say that by the 9th day all tasks are clear out, and then the team is just sitting ideal. So this is the indication that work being performed but too fast. But again, this will lead to question when someone is doing very fast, whether team is compromising with quality, whether they are missing something. And the second thing is whether the planning was estimation was wrong. ये task को इतना time लग ही नहीं रहा था, but the estimation went wrong. So that question will be arise. Okay.